Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Tuesday, January 21st, 2020. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. Again, the ES continues to trade in a very bullish overall trending structure here. That's the structure right there for the most part, and you'll notice that, again, while most mornings the market has pulled back modestly, for the most part it has led to a continuation higher day over day. So again, we're seeing overnight weakness and a little bit of a pullback, but at these lows here we have seemed to form in a pretty significant bottom here in the 60-minute time frame, 15-minute time frame, a bit of a rounded bottom quality as well, which could lead to a gradual continuation higher. Again, nothing to really stop this market at the moment. It continues to push higher. A level here to watch for today would be today's low, which is the midpoint of the breakout day, basically right there, and that's going to be about 33.07 quarter, call it 33.05, somewhere in that zone. If there's a failure to hold that today and there's a close below that, that would be fairly significant as this thing drops back, because we could experience more of a flush. So right now, as most mornings we've seen here since this strong bottom especially, but even all of these mornings here, we've seen early pullbacks in the morning followed by gradual strength heading into the afternoon. Again, with the way this rounded bottom has developed, more upside trending behavior could be seen. A key level here to watch is if this thing can get back above 33.18, 33.17 half, somewhere in that zone, it starts to open up the upside as high as 33.30. Okay, let's take a look now at the NQ. With the NQ, very similar price structure here, uptrending price action right there. Again, a pullback here in after hours and pre-market trading. We also have a rounded bottom quality with a pretty sharp turnaround on the 15 and 60-minute charts. Again, this one is knocking on the door to more upside, but really needs to get a little bit higher here. If it can start to break through about 91.50, 91.50 in that zone right there, that could really open up the upside as high as 91.80 to 9200. So there could be a little bit more upside here again if this thing can start to break a little bit higher. A failure to hold, if there's this zone right here, you always got to know where that failure occurs. Again, that midpoint here from that day, 9100, that would open up a deeper pullback, but given the overall trend, it could provide another opportunity to buy this thing, especially off the LVN at 8900. So that's going to be the swing buy pullback zone there if it were to dip that low. All right, let's take a look at crude oil. You'll see here with crude oil, we have an outside day down, and again, this is kind of stitched together with some after hours trading over the last couple of days. But for the most part, that's a pretty significant rejection here. I mentioned before that if we had sold off, any bounce as high as 60 could be a selling opportunity for a continuation to about 54 to 55, that zone right in here. And again, this happened kind of during holiday trading there, but for the most part, that's a pretty significant reaction, a sharp drop. Now, with that sharp top, are we going to find an impulse low? Because if we see the impulse sell-off begin and find a strong low, then perhaps we can bounce right back to the midpoint. Perhaps even today, that could be 58.74. And right now, in the 15-minute time frame, it appears that we are putting in a bit of a double bottom rejection low, which could lead us back toward 58.74 on a short-term basis. That could give us an intraday key range, or an impulse key range that we can then use for calculating further actionable buy and sell zones and additional extensions and targets. Okay, let's take a look now at gold. You'll see right here with gold, this one has rejected prices above 1560.3 there. That's basically the midpoint. So this thing got as high as 1568.80. And one thing we were watching last week, I mentioned watch 1565, because if we reject that zone, then we will likely see a return back down that could take us any number of places. It could take us back toward the pivot range for the month here, which is about 1500. It could take us as low as 1440, which is the LVN and major support. So there's several zones here where we could hit. Today's reaction right there is pretty significant. And again, if you look at the intraday time frame here, you see a pretty sharp reaction from those highs. A steady continuation lower, and now price is unable to hold above the 1557.3 level, and that's basically right at last week's close. So 1557.3 is the previous week's close, and right now bears defending that level. Above 1558 would squeeze back toward 1566, which is VPOC. But right now, all indications point to more weakness here. If this thing can't get back above 1565, we could be looking at a return back toward 1525, 1495, and 1440. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this develops the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.